Brecon is at the centre of the universe. In paradise, it's about 45 miles due north of Cardiff. It is in the modern county of Powys, but until 1974 it was the county town of Breconshire. Well, the Gurkhas actually came to Brecon in 1974 and have been here continuously since. Well, an obvious choice, elite soldiers in an elite town.
The Brigade of Gurkhas came to be stationed permanently in England in 1971, and until that time they had been based in the Far East, based on Hong Kong. When the 1st Battalion came and was based in Church Crookham, they looked at being able to provide Gurkhas in other employment other than being the UK battalion. And 2 sites were selected in terms of roles for Gurkhas. One was the demonstration company at Sandhurst, and the other one was the role at the School of Infantry Senior NCO's wing in Brecon. Gurkha only becomes the Gurkha after he becomes a trained soldier. He's a Nepalese citizen prior to that. And what makes him special is the training that he gets, the esprit de corps of the brigade, and hopefully the leadership that he gets from his British officer that makes him special within the British Army.
One of my pay clerk, who was from the Gurkha Transfer Regiment, his job was to pick up the office newspaper every morning, which he did from the guard room, and he brought it in and says, "Sir, look at that." I said, "Oh, what's that?" And the front page was, this is the local, the Brecon newspaper, and the front page was, "Gurkhas granted freedom of Brecon." I said, "What?" It was decided about a week ago, I think, by the mayor and his, the people of Brecon, that they would honour us by giving us the honorary citizenship of Brecon. Now, I knew nothing about it, so the first thing I did was ring up my commanding officer and said, "Colonel, have you seen this?" And he said, "No." I said, "That's what he said. Do you know anything about it?" And he said, "No." "Well, that's interesting." So, and then they said, "Can you find out?" So he rang up to the next person higher up, which was the general, and he knew nothing about it. And then I rang up our liaison officer in the Ministry of Defence, and I rang him up and said, "Have you heard this?" And he said, "No." He said, "What is it?" He says, "This." He said, "Oh, can you find out more and let me know?" So I rang up the mayor and I said, I think his name was Denzil Griffiths, I think. "Denzil, very kind, what's all this?" He said, "It was decided by the council." I said, "Great. Is that all?" He said, "Yeah, we decided to do that." I said, "Fine, thank you very much." And that was it. So that's the first time we heard, this is 86, that we heard that the council had given us honorary citizenship. So we left it there for a couple of days. The general then rang up the commanding officer and said, "Hang on, we've got to do something about this. We just can't leave it on a piece of paper. We've got to have some sort of show." So the commanding officer rang me up and he said, "What do you propose?" And I said, "Let me think about it." So I got hold of my other officers and said, "Look, this was happening. What do you think?" He said, "Well, let's have a small parade. So to mark the occasion. And then the mayor will come and inspect, and the general will be there. We'll have the pipes and drums or the band there to march us in and march us out." And I said, "Fine." So we arranged that. And so that's how the parade, which happens every year now in Brecon, came about.
Following soldiers are awarded the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal. Rifleman Chitra Bahadur Rai, Rifleman Lala Burra.
आजको ब्रेकन फ्रीडम परेड चाहिँ हरेक वर्षमा एकपटक ब्रेकन फ्रीडम परेड भन्छ र हामी गोर्खाली यहाँ आएको झन्डै 21 वर्ष भइसक्यो र यो 21 वर्ष गोर्खाली यहाँ आइसकेपछि ब्रेकनको टाउन काउन्सिलले अथवा यहाँको कम्युनिटीले गोर्खालीलाई यहाँको अनरेरी सिटिजनशिप दिएको हो र यो हामी गोर्खालीहरूको लागि ठुलो अचिभमेन्ट हो र यहाँको कम्युनिटी हामीलाई अनर गरेको र यहाँको अनरेरी सिटिजनशिप दिएर हामीलाई अनर गरेको र त्यसैको लागि हरेक वर्षमा हामीले ब्रेकन फ्रीडम गर्छौं यहाँको कम्युनिटीलाई धन्यवाद दिनको लागि
Honored guests, Gurkha Company Mandalay, citizens of Brecon, friends and visitors. I am pleased and honoured to welcome you to the 23rd Annual Freedom of Brecon Parade.
My branch of the Malaysia Borneo Veterans Association, we support the Gurkha troops. And we had an invite today from the Mayor to come up here and be part of the celebrations, which I'm glad I did. Because serving in Borneo, I served with the Princess Mary's Brigade. And I've often said this, and I'll say it till I die, I would rather have the Gurkhas on my side than against me, because they were brilliant troops. Absolutely, we couldn't have wanted for better.
You have my permission.
And I'll never forget them, and I'll thank them every time I see them. Even some of these young boys here today probably weren't even born then.